Okay, I'm here. Sorry, a minute or so late. I had some technical difficulties again. I had it all set up and then it wouldn't work. So I had to restart Facebook again. So sorry, I'm just gonna pull this up on my computer this time and see if that works better for seeing comments. Okay, so it's just coming up there. Oh, I see Joanne. Okay, I see comments. That's good, that's good. Okay, so are you gonna scrap along with me and make these cards, Joanne, or are you just gonna watch and do it later on? Okay, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna make. So I already made one set. I didn't fully complete these. I'm going to show you what the expectation is basically for the challenge tickets. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is card number 1. So same card, same pattern. I flipped the paper. So this pattern paper that I used is a retired one, but this is either side. And then I actually matted this piece for the sentiment on this one and then left that one blank. So you can see that there's different things that you can do with the pattern. So here is number 2. So same thing, I flipped things around and I matted one and not the other. This is card number 3. So same pattern, flip the paper, I put an extra piece on this one. Instead of leaving just the card base showing, I put an extra piece underneath. I put a little fancy border with my punch there. I added some twine and I just flipped kind of the location. So this one could be this way. You could do it this way as well. Totally up to you which orientation you want to do these cards. And then this is the next one. So the circle is not part of the cutting guide, but that's just what I decided to do to add the sentiment. You don't have to put the green piece. You can just put a white piece. You can put a different shape. Again, you can kind of do whatever you want with these. These are basically the card bases. Here's the next one. So this one I use the zip strip on. Whoops. That's the top piece from my papers, which I'll show you. And then the last one. So again, same thing. I just added some embellishment to this one just to kind of show you more what it looked like finished. Okay, so that is the set of cards. So as well as this, what I'm going to do is during our live crop from 7 till 10, I'm going to demo a little holder for this. So it will hold your cards on one side and your envelopes on the other and just be like a little folder to hold them in. So I'm going to put those out of the way. And then I'm going to pull in my paper. So this is the paper that I chose to use for this. Yes, they would make nice sympathy cards too, Joanne. So, sorry, I'm just pulling up my cutting diagram so that I can cut this. This is my pattern paper. So I'm going to start with that. So this is double-sided. This side is pretty plain, so I'm probably not going to use it for this one. But if you have a nice paper like the other one where it's got a really pretty pattern on both sides, then that's fantastic because you can mix things up a bit. So I'm just going to cut my zip strip off here. So it's just a little bit hard with my camera mount there, so I need to try and get that lined up. So there we go. So I'm going to keep this because I will use that on a couple of the cards. So my paper doesn't really matter which way it goes. I mean, it kind of looks better this way, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. So what I always do, just because I do, is that's the end that I just cut off. I'm going to flip it over. This is my factory end, and I'm going to use it at the top of my trimmer. So for the cutting guide, I'll just pull this in here. Hopefully you can see that without a lot of glare. Sorry, oh, I see that Lori's here now too. That's great. So, I'm sorry, I can't tell if it's glaring there because I'm a little bit laggy there. Okay, it looks okay. So I'm going to cut this, whoops, I'm going to cut this line first, and then I cut all those pieces. Then I'm going to cut this line, I can cut all those pieces, and then that leaves me with that one. Okay, so just to show you how I'm going to follow that along. So I'm going to start with my 5.5 inch. So 5.5 inches right there. I'm going to cut that. So I'm going to put that one down. I'm going to cut this next strip. So my next one is 4.25. So I'm right there. And then that leaves me with 2.5 left over. So I'm going to cut my 2.5 strip, and I'm going to cut 2 4.25. So I'm going to cut one at 4.25. And I'm going to put my next one in. And that's pretty plain, so I'm just going to flip this. Is for 6. So set it aside, and then, so you notice that there's 2 of each cut, right? So you get 2 of each card. Now with my 4.25 inch strip, you're going to cut 3.5 twice and 2 twice. So sorry, I'm just going to look. Oh, my guillotine. Yes, I do actually like this cutter a lot. I have gone through so many different cutters. It's still, you have to be careful to make sure that you're getting straight. But the thing that I really like about the guillotine as opposed to the other cutters is I don't get that edge. So when you're using one of the rail cutters or blades, when it cuts, it kind of pushes your edge down, and so you get a little bit of an edge. And with the guillotine, you don't seem to get that. So I like that better. I don't have to replace blades on this. I got so tired of having to replace blades. So this works for me. We'll see how long I think that. But anyway, for now, it's my go-to trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to do the smaller pieces first, because it's always easier to get a smaller piece out of a bigger piece. Make sense? So I'm going to cut 2 inches off. So I'm at 12, so that means I'm going to go to 10. So I'm going to line my paper up to 10. One cut, and then I'm going to do it again. To get another 2 inches, I'm going to go to 8. So this is number 5. So the way that I'm cutting that, I can just stack it. I think you can see that okay. I'm just stacking it there so I can tell. And then my next one is 3.5. So this time I'm going to just go to 3.5 because it's just easier. 3.5 and another 3.5. So now I got my 2 3.5s. So they go on the top of the pile, and then I have this little piece extra, which again, I might still be using. So I pick up that first piece that I cut, which was 5.5 inches wide. And again, I'm going to start at the top of the cutting diagram and cut my smallest pieces first. So I want 1.5, so I'm going to go to 10.5 inches. That gives me 1.5. And then I'm going to go to 9 inches, and that gives me another 1.5. So that's for card 1. So I'm going to put that down here. Then card 2 is only 1.25. So I'm going to go to 7 3/4. And then I need to go to 6.5. And watch, I'm just going to double check that. I'm pretty sure I did that right. Yep. Okay. So that's card number 2. And then my last one is just cutting this one at 3.25, and that gives me my two pieces of 3.25. So that's for card 3. This one was for card 2, and this is for card 1. So there's all of my pattern paper in a stack. Just gonna make sure and see. Sorry, just want to check the comments because I don't want to miss them. So it looks looks good. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can do some of my cardstock. So as you see, I've got some pieces here, and I'm not totally sure what color I want to use. So I don't know, like everything kind of, they all look good. I think they all look nice. So I don't know, what do you guys think in terms of the color? Obviously I can choose 2. And then I can use this as an accent on one. So the accent goes on card number 5. So that would be here. And blue and orange, green, blue. Yeah, I like this blue. I like this blue a lot. This doesn't go with it, but that's okay. The blue is really pretty. So let's do one with the blue. And then this is actually red, but I understand it shows up differently on your computer. But it looks pretty, doesn't it? So maybe I'll cut some of them with that one too. I'm gonna put these back here. So let's do blue as this first color. So this one is a little bit tough because as you can see, I just got a whole bunch of tiny little strips, right? There's like a 1/2 inch, but then there's mostly 1/4 inch strips. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to just cut straight down as opposed to cutting it this way. This takes the least amount of space this way, but I have a whole sheet, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to just pull those over. I'm going to cut a bunch of my 1/4 inch strips first. So you can hopefully, oh, lost it. I lost my picture. See, I thought I should print this out. It probably would have been easier. Okay, so I'm going to start cutting this. So I want, for 1B, I want a 1/2 inch. So I can go to 11.5. That one's easy. Cut that. And now I need a whole bunch of strips of 1/4 inch. So I need 1, 2, 3. No, I need at least 4, I think. So I'm going to go 1/4 inch. Now what I find is when you're cutting 1/4 inches, depending on your trimmer and how careful you are, it's easier for cards because I find that they're not consistent with their width. And that's just user error. That's just the fact that I'm lining it up a little bit differently each time. It's just really noticeable on such a tiny piece, right? So that's my 1/2. There's a bunch. I actually did not too bad, but I know you could see them on some of the cards. A little bit off. Okay, so before I go any further, I've cut 4 of those. Let's do this other cut. So this is 1B, and I need 5.5, 2 of those. So I'm going to go 5.5. Now this is where I find it's harder with any trimmer, is to get that cut without it moving. But it looks like I did okay. Go again, 5.5. You never know. Might want to use that little piece as an accent. Okay, so that's for card 1. And now I have all these little 1/2 inch pieces. So see, you can see there's a big difference between those two. But they're not going in the same place, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so 2B, something fell, is 5.5 as well. So this is where it gets really tricky because there's not a lot to hold on to here. So I'm cutting to 5.5, 2 pieces at 5.5. That's for card 2. I'm just going to put that there. And then 4B, I need 4. So that means that 2 of them will be on the card. So it will be more noticeable. So I'm just going to check. If I remember, I put the same piece on. Let's just go with these 2. Okay, so 4B, I need 4.25. So I get that lined up there. So 1, 2, and what does that leave me with? 3.5. So that was for card 4. So that's not big enough for anything else. Okay, and I'm going to cut my next one. So 2 more at 4.25. then I have 5C is the same. Again, 4 1/4. There's like something on that. Turn that around. You might notice that the color is changing as I flip my cardstock. So close to my heart cardstock is two-toned now. So true color on one side and a lighter color on the other side, which is kind of fun. Just have to be careful when you're doing things. You remember to use the right side. Okay, so this was for 5. So go down to 5. And I need one more 1/4 inch piece. So now I'm cutting at 10 1/4. And it's stuck. And then this one is 3 3/4. So this is 6B. 3 3/4. I need 2 of those. And that was for 6, so that's the very, very bottom one. There we go. Okay, so that's all of the blue, other than, no, I need the 2 banner pieces. So the 2 banner pieces are 2 inch. So I'm at 10 1/4, so I'm going to go to 8 1/4 for that. And then 2 3/4. So let's do it this way. So we're going to go 1, 2 3/4. And then we're gonna go 1, 2 3/4. Takes me to 6 1/2. Okay, so then those 2 pieces go with number 3. There, and then that's extra. So let's do the rest. Let's do what I can get out of this red. So I need a 2 1/4 and a 2 inch strip. So just like before, we're just going to cut this straight line down, so at 2 inches, and then again at 2 1/4. So I'm not going to get both of those out of here. So just going to have a quick look at my cards. 1 and 2. So I'm going to do 1. So that's 2 inches. See, it's a little bit harder for me at that such a short piece to get a nice straight line. But you just gotta take your time. That looks perfect. Okay, so 2 by 3 1/2. I need 2 of those. 1, 2. That's for card 1. And I need, not crooked, it just looked crooked. I need 3 1/2 inches again. But this time, I need it cut in half at 1 inch. So just gotta make sure I'm lined up nicely there. And then that is for card 6, so that goes right at the bottom of my pile. There it is. And then let's do the yellow. Do I have enough yellow? So I'm going to cut my 2 1/2, my 2C out of this. So 2 1/2. So you can see you could do each card a different color of cardstock if you wanted to. Oh, I might not have enough to do both of these. 3 1/4. Oh, look at that, I do. 3 1/4. So that's for 2. I need a 1/2 inch. What have I got here? Not enough. But my red, oh wait. Yeah, my red is. So for 5C, or sorry, 5B, so I've cut all of these and now I'm just cutting this one here. So a lot easier if you just cut out of one color, obviously. But as long as you get all the pieces, it doesn't matter what color you use. So I'm at 4 1/4, and then I have to cut this in half, which I'm not going to be able to do with this trimmer. So I'll sneak in my little trimmer, which doesn't give me a 1/2 inch easily either, but it's going to be close enough. There we go. Whoops. That's for card 5. Oh, and this is actually probably supposed to be the zip strip that I was going to use. That's okay, I can cut the zip strip too. So this is for card 5. Okay, so that's my cutting done. So I can put this out of my way for now, and then I have my pre-made card bases. I'm just going to pull a stack of those so I keep them handy. And then I could start assembling. So it's pretty easy, but depending on how much detail you want to get into is how fancy these cards can be. So this is card 1. So for card 1, I want to attach my pattern paper to the folded edge. If you do it on the other side, it doesn't really matter. As long as your paper is not directional, doesn't make a bit of difference. And then next is my 1/2 inch piece. I'm just wondering if I should use this on here. No, I have it for my other one. Stop second guessing and just do it. I think I'll use the dark. I think the dark works a little bit better. Now, so this is dovetailed, but what I'm going to say to you is optional. Put 3D foam tape underneath it if you want to put some dimension on your card. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I don't use a lot of 3-dimensional stuff on my cards because they go in the mail and I just want them to get in there nice and easy. So I need to dovetail this. This piece is 2 inches, so I use my mat. I just line it up with my scissors in the middle, and I put a little cut in there, and then I can go from the corner, and it's easy to find the center of my piece. There. So it's not necessarily perfect, but it looks pretty good to the eye. Okay, so then I'm going to put this down. Oh. So that's my dark side, and that's my light side. And I think I'm going to go with the light side on that one. It looks a little bit closer to that because actually these colors are not the colors that are listed in the kit. I don't even know if any of them are. But because the other pattern papers in this kit have more of this, of the solid colors, that makes more sense to go with those other papers. But with this paper, I didn't quite need to. So my picture doesn't actually show. I forgot what the dimension is. Sorry. I'm just going to pull out my samples. I did make sure that they were lined up. Grab a ruler. So this is at 3/4 and what is that? 5/8. Okay. So, whoops, 3/4 over and 5/8 down. I should be using my good ruler so that I can see because I'm not even close there. Well, that's pretty close. So, you know what? It's really not that important. You can move this around wherever you want. And then as you see in my sample, right? So in order to That's very crooked. Qualify for the challenge. This is the extent of what I'm looking for. So have your bases done. So have your pieces of paper attached. But then for bonus, if you actually add sentiments and a little bit of bling on them, then you get 5 more tickets. Okay, so see, make sure I'm straight here. That's better. That was very crooked. Oh, my ruler's right there. Okay, so on this one, because my one accent color was gray, I could easily stamp directly onto this. But with this red, can't so much stamp on this. So then I would actually take a piece of white cardstock and I would cut it, probably not quite that. So that's 1C. So 1C is 2 by 3.5. So I would probably cut it at well, you could do 2 3/4, but that's what this is. And that leaves a big border, which is fine. But if I cut it at 1 7/8 instead of 1 3/4, then that would just give me this tiny border around it. So depending on your color, on this one, I kept the same size, but then I cut a bigger piece. So it's 2 1/8 by 3 5/8, right? So I just added 1/8 to the dimensions that are on the cutting guide. So that's how I got the mat sizes. Okay, so that is card 1. So I am not going to make a second card 1. I'm going to move on and do the next card. So I'm going to set those aside. Okay, and then I'm going to go on to my next one. So on to card 2. Okay, so card 2 isn't much different, to be honest. Very similar. We're going to take our pattern paper. Set that out of the way. Put that on. I think I'm going to use my Tombow for this because it's skinny. Easier for these dots. I don't worry too much about my adhesive on cards because I figure when people get them, it's not like they're framing them or keeping them forever, usually. So if for some reason the adhesive was to fail, oh well. Probably they will have thrown it away before this. This actually looks nice. It's got a little bit of yellow in there. Definitely the lighter color. So same thing. I can stamp directly onto this square. Or I can cut a white mat. So probably I would cut a white mat. And then dimension wise, this one's a little bit different. Whoops, wrong one. Oh. Oh, because I put that back there. Sorry, confusing myself. So same idea. I did mat. So with this being yellow, I could do a red mat around it. That might look really nice. Or I could leave the yellow and do the white on it. Actually, I really don't like the white on it. It might look better with a red mat. Let me grab a piece of red. See if I have the right color red handy. This was the color. Okay. Look, I even have a piece that's so close to the right size. Try again. There we go. So what do you think? Too much color? Yeah. To get it straight. So see, I'm not really, well, it's very crooked, even measuring this one so much as I am just, because I have it stuck down, I'm just trimming it to where it looks good and even. Sometimes I find it's easier to do that than to measure. So we'll do this one. This one is 1 inch, so 1 inch from there, and what is it? 1 1/4 from the top. So 1 inch from the edge and 1 1/4 from the top. Pieces in there, and then I can move on to the next card. So these are pretty quick, like you can see, but again, the more detail, the more time it's going to take. So you can see with this one I spent a little bit more time. So let's see what this paper is going to look like on this card. So this is card 3. That was just a leftover piece. Okay, come on, give me that. So this is card 3, so I only have 2 pieces of paper for this. And I better put the fold the right way. So this, and then I'm going to flip it over that way, I think. And then that would go there. And so it would look prettier with something. So red, or I could do something like I did here, and I can find some ribbon or something in my stash. Let's see what I got up here. Oh, totally messed up the focus on that, didn't I? That one's falling apart. I don't know if that's the right color or not. I think it might be. It's pretty thick though. Like hopefully you can do this kind of idea too, and you can use up, oh, that looks pretty, use up some of the stuff in your stash. This is a great way to use up some stuff. So what do you think? I think I might even put it up a little bit more just so I do have that white washi. Yeah, washi would be good too. I wonder if I have any washi that would go in. It'd be faster. I don't really. Don't really have one that looks really nice with that, I don't think. So I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to put this piece down. Okay, and then take a piece of this. This will do. I like the score tape for ribbon. I find it's much easier. I've had this ribbon for a long time, so it's good to use some of it up. Oh, so I'm going to line that up there. So it's totally up to you guys to decide how you want to dress it up. But as I said, the expectation for your tickets would be that you would, if you're going to put something decorative there, that you get that on there and get this piece on there. And I'll have to, oops, put something on the inside there to cover that. Folding that ribbon over. So if you were really worried, you could have done this on a separate just piece and then stuck it down, and then that would cover it up. Or, like I said, I don't think I have one that long, but I can easily just cut that and put that on the inside of my card. I could put a little decorative stamp, or I could do something like that on there. So I'm not going to do that right now. I might do that tonight during our crop. So this is another piece that gets the dovetail. So same. And then you can decide if you want to mat on the outside, mat on the inside, or just stamp right on that piece, because the blue probably would stamp okay. Where's my ruler? Is that ½ inch? It's like about ½ inch in. But again, I'm not even worried about that one being measured. I'm just going to put this one down where I think it looks good. There, look at that. So I like that. That's pretty. So I'll just have to decide what I want to put there. And I will show you some stamps that I pulled out that can work for these. Okay, so next. Oops. I've got my cards right here. I have 2 more, so I'll do that. So next is 4. Oh no, 3 more left. We're halfway. How long have I been on here? What time is it? 3:30, 40 minutes. So that's not bad. This is a big like project. This is not little. Okay, so this was the one where I'm putting the 2 pieces on. So I want to make sure I have the same size. So I'm going to take my second set and put it up there out of the way. And then this one is what I want. So that one will look very pretty there. Oh, so I just line this up and then line it up. So I'm basically 1 inch either way. And then I want light side up. So I'm going to use my dots again. This time I can do this though. See, that works okay. And like I said, it's a card, so I'm not too worried about it. It's enough to hold it on there. So this card, like this is it. This is a really simple card. But again, it's how you embellish it. So that's your expectation for what I would expect if you want your tickets. The design of the card has a circle. So like I could even offset this. I was thinking I had a circle cut out before. You see my little stash of pieces. I have a circle there just to show you. Apparently not. I used it. But you could offset it if you wanted, or you could do something else with this. You can do whatever you want. Sorry, I set down. Here it is. So this is one of our retired die cuts, thin cuts. So you could easily do that. That would actually be really nice. I think I might do that on one of these. So you're just cutting out happy birthday. And I tend to do a lot of birthday cards because I send them out to all the family. And that's pretty much that, and some anniversary. But so that would be really nice on there too. Just really simple, right? Or you can do a nice circle sentiment on there. So that's one more done. Now we're on to 5. And I lost my picture again. This one, it's a little bit different. Okay, so we want this and this. So this was the one actually that I meant to use my thing on this on. but it's not going to look really good with that. But I could use it with this. So this is at 1.5 inches from the bottom. I think I have to go that way. So I want it that way. So 1.5 to the bottom would be there. And then this, I never ever get that quite right, but I almost always have it this way, which is okay. So this needs to be cut at 4 1/4, so I can do that quickly on here. 4 1/4, and then I can just trim that bit off. Whoops. Back there. There we go. Now it's gone. So, I put my tape away. I hope I'm not frozen. I just looked over and I see that my screen is not moving. Seem to be okay there. Is everybody still there? Just going to reload my Facebook page. Oh, it's still there. Okay. Okay. Okay, so then do I want this or do I want something else? Because I like the idea of washi. Just don't know if I have anything that's really going to go with this. Those are really dark. And these are really pale. There's a totally different color. Eesh, nope. Yeah, Joanne, you were frozen too. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I just left and came back and it was okay. And there's this one. What does that look like? Is it too dull? What do you think? Do you think that looks okay? Where is it? Where's the end? Maybe I just put that there. See what happens when you play around? I just don't know if I like that red though. Yeah, you think it's okay? Or would it be better with too blue? Oh, that looks so pale though. I'm gonna go with the red. Why not? So it's pretty close there. It's about 1/4 inch. I actually did this. I put my other piece there to line it up, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that with washi very nicely. No, it's gonna keep moving on me. That's okay. I don't mind just eyeballing things. Oh, totally missed. Look at that. Try that again. See if I can do it this time. There. That'll work. I'm good with that. Okay. Cut those off. Get rid of that. I'm gonna cut that off too. It's overhanging a bit. Okay. Oh, I like that. That looks pretty. So the idea on this one, again, you can do whatever you want to do with this, but the idea was that the sentiment actually goes down here. So I'm going to, I gotta trim that. So I pulled a couple of signs out that might work there. No, that one, no. This one, I think, was what I was thinking. So I figure I'm just going to stamp this one just so you can kind of see. Whoops. Maybe I'll do anniversary this time because I do need some anniversary cards. Stick. Okay. I think it's turning out to be my favorite too, Joanne. Okay, am I straight? I think so. I'll stamp it off. So, sorry, I just do this now automatically. I'm just conditioning the stamp. I don't think it's a new stamp, but honestly, I don't remember. So this is just a good thing to do. If new stamps come with like a film on them, an oil that's part of the manufacturing process. Sorry, just getting a scrap out of here. So you want to make sure that that comes off, otherwise you won't get a really clean stamp. So that's just one way to do it. You just rub it there, and oh, I need to pick a color. And then in between as well, I think I'm a little bit crooked. When you're in between colors and you clean it, then you might want to do that. I find it really hard to line them up on the block nicely. Even there are guidelines on here. Maybe I should actually try and use that. That might work better. So it's hard to see. I'll show you. I'll get the stamp on there. See if you can see this. See that line there? Right there. So they're on there just for this purpose, so that you can line your stamp up. Okay, I am going to stamp it. I don't know if I really want to add another color. I think I'm just going to go with black. I feel like the red, I don't like words in red very much. They just don't look as nice. They look like you're in trouble, you know, because teachers always use red to mark your papers. Yeah, I think it looks okay. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that down there. Sorry, I have to get in front of that to make sure I'm straight. There we go. And then I could put a couple of gems there, or a couple of gems up here somewhere. It's pretty simple, but it's nice, isn't it? Whoops. So I'm just cleaning that with my stamp chamois. Where is my... I love the stamp chamois. Didn't see that. Oh. So, looks like you might have gotten booted. Something happened. I thought my internet was fixed. So hopefully you can all come back, or it's just started again for you. I'm not sure. Just putting this out of the way. So since I'm just doing this one, let's just go all the way with this one. Let's see what I got here. Very bright. You know what? Where are those? I'm thinking, because I stamped that in black, what if I did this? There. I think that looks pretty good. So those are just simple black and white dots. And that one's done. Okay, last card. Oh, just a tip that I learned not that long ago. So these are the card bases. So whenever you're doing really anything with scoring, so these are pre-scored. So see if you can see this. So there's a valley and a hill. Well, apparently my internet is not good, so I'm not too impressed. Anyway, you want to fold with the hill on the inside. Your card won't crack. Your paper won't crack the same. Okay, so last card. This one is a little bit more finicky. I'm gonna reload my computer. Sorry, folks. Start. Get my first piece just on the left-hand side here. And then again, we're going to dovetail. So this one's a bit smaller, but it's 1 inch, but it's the same idea. I just line up my scissors. It's hard when it's so far away. So I line up my scissors and I cut up, and then I cut to that center mark. Now, what I didn't give you cutting guide for was this actual piece here, so your sentiment. So you can pretty much decide what you want that to look like. So see, on this one I could use this as well, but I don't have enough for all the cards with that one. But there's a lot of blue in this one, so I think the blue is better. So I ended up using the zip strip, a piece of zip strip on this one, and I dovetailed it, but it does call for the thinner piece, the actual pattern. And then on this one, I actually die cut this border. But like I said, it calls for this. So same idea to get your dovetail. Woo! That one work? Oh yeah, there it is. But I might... Oh no, it's like this. Okay, so, sorry. Because I modified these, they're a little bit harder to see. So I'm going to attach this, make sure I have the right side. Yes. Ruler. So I'm about 1 inch from the bottom on this one. And I'm just about 1/4 inch from the edge there. It's a little bit finicky because it's so small. And there we go. Again, make sure I get the right side. To remember that with the two-toned. So you might want to play around with your location of this, because if I can go here too, which is fine. So your pattern calls for a sentiment to go here, like this one. So see how this one, I just lined that up with the corner. So you can kind of play around with that. But I'd like to see you try and get some shape in there, even if it is just a square. The square, see, I don't even have that on there. It would be 1.5 by maybe 2, or 1.5 by 2.5. 1.5 by 2.5, unless you have something that it fits. So that's it. That's all of them. And now they're all mixed up here in my big pile. Let's see if I can pull them out. My big pile of mess. All of them. One more in there somewhere. Can't find it. There it is. So there they all are. So I don't even know if I actually mentioned what paper this is. So this is new. It's in the current, the little 2-month idea book. It is the Eat, Play, Love paper.